All right, everyone. Welcome to Beauty on the Budget tonight. It is October 1st, and our guest tonight, Angelica, tell me how you say your last name.
It's Mais.
Mais. I thought so, but you know, you always want to make sure, right? Or introduce you and say your name wrong. It's Angelica Mais showing us some amazing makeup tips tonight. If you are new to Beauty on a Budget, or if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube, we are going to be using LimeLife by Alcone products tonight, but you're welcome to play along with whatever it is that you have with you. And just to tell you a little bit about LimeLife by Alcone, LimeLife is a company that's about 5 years old, 6 years old now. And the mother company is Alcone. Alcone's in New York, and it's been around almost 7 decades now, is what I've heard. And so started out as a small little store that sold some theatrical hardware and makeup, and now it's a beauty industry giant worldwide, a global beauty industry giant with pro partnerships with companies like RCMA, Kryolan, Dermablend, let's see, who else are we with? Scandinavia. And what that means is that those companies know and trust the Alcone name enough to partner with us on a professional level so that some of our products are curated through them. And we actually just bring you the best of the best makeup and skincare, the makeup that truly only professional makeup artists could get their hands on until just about 5 years ago. And so if you're buying it anywhere other than from us, you're probably not using something that is of the professional quality that we have. It's like nothing I had ever seen or heard of until I became a part of LimeLife 3 years ago. And I really hope that you will play along with what you have. And if there's anything you see that isn't already in your makeup bag that you think would be interesting, make a note of it. And we'll help you get in touch with a beauty guide if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't have one, or connect with the beauty guide who invited you to watch this video, and they'll be able to hook you up with all the goodies you're going to see tonight. And with that, I'm going to ask Angelica to please introduce yourself. Let me get this on speaker view and highlight you. And Angelica, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and over to you.
Can I interrupt you just for a second? Some
Of
people
course.
are saying it's not letting them in. It says mine isn't compatible. So just to let you guys know,
Okay.
that's what's going
If
on.
it's not
Have
compatible,
them, if we can put a comment on there and just have them copy it and then repaste it into like a Google and see if that
I'll do
works.
that. I'll do that really quick. Thank you for Terry. Thanks for letting us know that.
Yeah, I
Angelica,
just kind of reached out to some people that are always on here. I was like, did y'all forget about the Zoom? They were like, we can't get on.
I'll edit the post and make a notation of that. And Angelica, on to you, dear.
All right.
sorry.
So like Nancy said, my name's Angelica Mais. I'm a star beauty guy with LimeLife by Alcone. I've been with LimeLife for a little over a year now. Honestly, I did not consider myself a makeup artist before joining LimeLife. I honestly joined for the skincare, as crazy as that sounds. So I am a self-taught makeup artist. I'm a mom of 3 kiddos. I've got 2 cats, and I got a husband, and I work full-time. LimeLife is pretty much like my side gig. Hopefully it'll be like my full-time gig here in another year. But so I do makeup looks all the time. I also do makeup for weddings and events. So I'm super excited to show you this look because this is one that caught my eye. So first things first, I'm going to show you what we're going to be working with. So if you guys have seen me before, I typically work within a 4-wheel palette. We're upgrading to a 6-wheel tonight. So these are the colors that we'll be using. So this is our number 42 Higher Ground. This one just came out back in March with the Danessa shadows. And then same with this one. This is number 44, which is a really pretty dark orange. It's called Eternal. And then we have Phoenix, which is also one of the new ones from Danessa. It's more of a foil eyeshadow, so I'm super excited to show you how to use this one. And then we have our number 3, Blondie, which is like a really pretty yellow. And then we have our number 13, which is called Centerfold. This is like a more of like that peachy orange color. It's very vibrant. And then like our last one here, this is our number 15. And this number 15 is just pretty like burnt, I want to call it like a burnt reddish orange. And it's just gorgeous. So Nancy and Terry, if you guys want to just keep an eye out for any questions as we go, because I'm going to be working through here pretty fast. But so I kind of have one part of my face done. It's not exactly to this look since I had a photo shoot earlier that I did. So we are going to recreate this look completely on the left-hand side, or my left-hand side. So first thing I'm going to do is, so I don't have any foundation on my left side. You can tell the difference just because I have a lot of redness on my left side, but not on the side with my foundation. It evens it out, you guys. Not only that, but you can kind of tell like my right side of my face looks like I got a facelift. This foundation is amazing. If you guys are not familiar with our foundation, it's wax based, so it sits on top of the skin, doesn't sink into the pores and wrinkles, and that's kind of why you kind of see that facelift there. Also, it works really well when you warm it up. So this one's been in my pocket for just a minute because I want it warmed so that way it's easier to apply on my face and I don't have to use as much. So I'm going to show you how to do this with my blender full. This is our regular size blender full. We now have the mini blender fulls. So I'm going to do is take the flat side of it and I am just going to twist it in here. And then I'm just going to start depositing this on my face. And just to let you guys know, I've already prepped and primed, which is key. So I already have all my moisturizer on. I already sprayed my face, which if you're curious, this is our first base makeup spray. So super easy to use. And I'm going to tell you, like, the quality of it is amazing. And you can see I pretty much got my whole side of my face with just that one twist. So I'm just kind of blending it in. So already, big difference. And that took like maybe a minute and one twist with that. I don't know about you guys, but I remember those days when I had a pump bottle and it drove me nuts and it took like forever to get what I wanted out of that stinking bottle. So this makeup being super easy, especially being a mom on the go, is a plus for me. Okay, so I'm going to show you brows real quick, just on that one side, because I do fill my brows in because they kind of wash out when I put my foundation on. So this is our, let me see the number 14, my lucky number 14 brush. It's an angled brow brush. So one end it has your angle, the other end has this lovely little brush wand. So I just kind of brush my eyebrow up and try to get all those hairs just kind of in place. And you can do this one of two ways. You can use, if I can find it, there we go. So here is our claim to frame brush and pencil. It's got a fine tip. This is something I love to use to frame my eyebrow. So I'm gonna kind of go in here and I'm gonna do the bottom first. And I'm just kind of defining where my brow is gonna lay. And this is important, especially when you do an eye look, you guys, just because you've got to kind of work around your eyebrows and work with them a little bit. So I'm just kind of going on the top. I'm not going all the way in. I'm just kind of going towards the front and kind of filling it in just a little bit. Then I am going to brush that out. So this claim to frame brow pencil also has a wand on the end. So if you do not have the number 14 brush, you can always use your claim to frame pencil on that. So the next thing I'm going to show you real quick, because I want to get into this eye look, is I'm going to just take my angled brush, and I've got like, I think that's number 32 eyeshadow, and I'm just going to lightly put my brush in it. And then I'm going to kind of fill it in a little bit more. And if you feel like you got a clump of pigment, not where you want it, just use your brush and just kind of brush it out. So super easy brow tutorial, you guys. And then for those of you who do have fuller eyebrows, we do have an amazing brow gel, which I have thick eyebrows towards the middle and the end of my brow. So I like to use that just so I can make sure those stay where they need to. But literally just takes a minute. So our brows are done. And so I kind of put foundation everywhere else. What I typically do to kind of prime my eye for any eyeshadow is I use a concealer. So you can use like your number 3, number 00, whatever you guys feel like is going to work, which I'm going to use our mini Blenderful because I am almost to the edge of my concealer. This little mini Blenderful is awesome because it just goes right where I need it to. So I got right on the end. And I'm going to use that to prime my eyelid. And the reason why it's important to do a lighter concealer is because our eyelids are so opaque and we want to kind of block that opaqueness and make it just a light, clean canvas. So that way, especially when you're working with some of these lighter shadows that tend to have that foil reflection, you definitely want to have a good base. So, and again, this is our little mini Blenderful. They come in a pack of 5. They are amazing. I just got mine in and I'm super excited about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is kind of how I work. I do a transition color. So let me grab our dome brush here. So this is our number 10 dome brush. This is flexible, so it's really good for blending, because the last thing we want on a transition color is we don't want it to have a block of pigment. So what I'm going to do, so this is our number 44. It's that Eternal Flame color. It's a little bit of a burnt orange. I'm going to kind of go in here and I'm going to kind of place that in there. And I'm just kind of doing a back and forth motion. You guys can see this is why it's important to do your brows, because I got my highlight going on even with that pigment being right there. And then if you want to, maybe it's not dark enough or bold enough, you can just keep adding pigment to it. There is like no rule saying you cannot do that. So just like that. If for some reason you're like, that's not bright enough for me, you can always go in and add this number 13. Just on the top, brighten it a little bit more. All right, so now that we got that done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our darker color, which is this number 42. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my dome brush again, because I just kind of want to slightly deposit color just where my crease is. And you guys, if this is getting messy for you, that's okay. We have concealer and we can clean up everything. So I'm just kind of blending it in, and I want to keep it really dark around that crease, because what we're going to do here in a minute is going to brighten it up.
And you said that second color you're using is number 42?
Yes, so the brown is number 42, that's higher ground.
Gotcha.
And then the transition color that I just used was number 44, which is that Eternal Flame. It's like that burnt orange. And then if you guys feel like it is too dark, you can always top it off with number 13, Centerfold, just to kind of make that pigment pop a little bit more. And then I'm just kind of going in and I'm kind of blending it. because with this, I want that transition color just to stick out just a tad, but I don't want it to be like my whole eyelid. Now, if you feel like you got a harsh line, you can always take your blender brush, take a towel, and just kind of clean it off. You try to get that pigment off. And then you can kind of go back in, and you can use that to blend. So just like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do the corner. So when I do my corners, I typically use my angled brush, which is number 9. Number 9 is our little angle brush for eyeshadow. So I'm gonna take my angle brush, I'm gonna kind of go to my corner, and I kind of sweep it in. And you can hold on to the corner of your eye just to make it more of a smooth surface to lay pigment on, and just kind of swipe it inward. Okay, so Terry, this is our number 9 angled brush. So number 9. So I just sweep that in. So now we're kind of getting to that good spot. So you can kind of see I got pigment a little bit too far on my lid. I kind of have like a hooded eye going on. So for me, I have to bring up my lid eyeshadow just a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my concealer, and this is our number 6. This is our small concealer brush. And I'm just going to take that. I'm going to go on the inside and just kind of clean this up. And this is why, if maybe you made a mess earlier, that's okay, because you can always go back in with concealer and just clean up that area. And you kind of see like how much it's already brightened just from doing that.
What color concealer are you using?
So this one is number 3.
Okay.
So I'm between like a Shinto 1 and Shinto 2 tone. So like the number 3 is a little bit lighter for me. For those of you who may have a slightly lighter skin tone, you can always go with the 00 concealer. It's very, very light. So I'm just kind of going in here because, like I said, I got hooded eyes. So I want to bring up my eyeshadow. And of course, with this particular look, we have a spotlight. So when we have a spotlight, we want to make sure the light is going to hit it good. In order to do that, you want it to be a very light, clean surface. So with that being said, let's do, and I am going to be using, there it is. This is number 20. This is a small eyeshadow brush, number 20. Clean it just a little bit. Okay, and then this is where number 15 eyeshadow comes in. So if you guys seen the picture, what it is I'm going to bring it in on this side. And you want to make sure to leave a bare spot right in the middle, because we want our light to hit right in there. So I am just putting it on towards the outside and then the inside of my eye. This is number 15. And of course, you want it to be a little bit darker towards the edges, because we kind of want to give it like that gradient look where it starts getting a little bit lighter towards the center. And of course, if you go too far, just use your concealer brush again and kind of clean up. So with that being so far in, what I'm going to do now is towards that center part, I'm going to use that number 13 center fold. I'm going to get as close as I can without covering too much. because we want that part to be a little bit lighter. So just like that. All right, now we are going to go and work on that center part. So we have our Phoenix color right here that we are going to use. And this is like that foil color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the very edge of where I put those other two colors and slightly put that Phoenix color. So you can kind of see it's already starting to blend. And you can feather it in a little bit more if you want. And again, this is our number 20 brush. It's the small eyeshadow brush I'm using. So I'm just slightly dabbing and stroking towards like the outside. Just like this.
So Angelica, I have not ever, and it's very obvious in this lighting, used this technique before, and I am trying to follow along, and your colors are colors I don't normally use either. And I'm having a blast with this technique. I love how you're showing us this. I've seen it done before, and I've never had the guts to do it. So thanks for going step by step. I am
Yeah, no problem.
loving it.
Because I feel like anyone can do any makeup look that they want. Sometimes it's trial and error and just playing around. I know the girls in my network, I told them, I'm like, I have not eyeshadow until recently, and I absolutely love it. So, all right, guys, so we have that little spot left. And what we're going to do, we're going to use our number 3 Blondie. Smack in the center. So you can kind of already see what it's doing. And of course, I told you guys I got hooded eyes, so I'm gonna have to work it up in here a little bit more. So you can always go back and kind of touch it up a little bit. And again, I am just working with that small little brush. So if you feel like it's too, like maybe blocky, it's not blending right, you can always go back and just keep adding colors and trying to blend it. So the lighter colors are going to be better when you do that. So I'm going to go back in with Phoenix a little bit more, and I'm going to just kind of bring it out. And I'm just kind of tapping and stroking at the same time outward, because that's what's going to really blend it for you. Okay, so just like that. And then if you feel like you got a little too much off your spotlight, you can go back in with that Blondie and just kind of smooth it in. So this way it looks like that transition. And you guys, you can do this with any color palette. This is just the one that I thought was just completely screamed fall to me. So I was just like, I'm just gonna play with this palette. Alrighty. And I am gonna touch up like my crease just a tad. All right, just like that, you guys. So I'm gonna do a quick recap while you guys are kind of catching up. So again, we did a transition color of that internal flame. If you feel like that is a little too dark, you can always go with the centerfold, which is a tad bit lighter. Then we went with our crease, which I use this number 42 brown on. That's called Higher Ground. So once we got towards the corner, Then we went with like our number 15, Tainted Love. It's that really pretty burnt reddish orange. So that went right here. Then you can go with the centerfold just to lighten it a tad towards where the center is. And then of course on this corner, same thing. So by this time you have like just a white strip in the middle of your eyelid. So you would go in with your Phoenix, which is that really pretty foil gold. And you'll kind of get towards the center a little bit more and blend it. And then at this point, guys, you're just going to have your eyelid. When you get to that point, you can add your blondie into that. Now, if you feel like it's not blending properly, you know, you can keep adding the colors and trying to blend it a little bit more. It just depends on what you're wanting. Some people like it when it's a little bit blocky. So when you're blending it, you can just use your smaller brush and just keep adding those tones that you're like, okay, I think I need more red, add a little bit more red. In this case, I kind of feel like I need a little bit more of that blondie color. So I'm gonna just take my brush and tap a little bit. I'm gonna go right in the center. So just like that. So how are we feeling so far? Oh. Let's see. We are gonna look at the chat here.
Just couldn't get myself unmuted. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah, loving your look. I love it on you more than me. And I know I've never used all these colors together before, so I have a different coloring than you, obviously. So,
right.
But I wanted to go and try it true because, guys, sometimes what I found is that I sell myself short when I just stick with what I think works with me, with my colors, instead of trying something someone else is showing. And so the first time I try something, I stick with what the person who's doing the demo, I stick with their suggested colors. And I just said, well, let's just see what it looks like. And then I can decide if I like it as is or tweak it for me. So I hope when you watch these types of demonstrations that you do that. Give it a try. Give it a try with the color that you maybe would never try for yourself, because you never know. Some version of that might work for you. And that opens up so many more looks when you just explore and get willing to try something you've never tried before. I'm loving it. What are you going to do under the eye?
Oh, does someone have a question?
I was just going to say, I used most of those colors tonight. I used 4 or 5 of them tonight. Mine did not look near as marvelous as yours do, but I did use them in most of the same places. So I experimented with that palette, but it was a 4-well palette, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome.
When the eyeshadows went on sale, the 4 palettes, I bought 3, and tonight was the first night for me to use those, and I love them. They look beautiful.
And I will say, like, these colors, even if you do not want to do this exact look, these are gorgeous fall colors, you guys. Like, you cannot go wrong. And I mean, you can totally simplify this however, you know, works best for you. So I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to just do like underneath my eyes. And during on super smooth. So I'm doing it underneath where my lash line is and where my water line is, because the last thing I want is a gap that you can see underneath my lash line. So when you do this, you're blending in that color and that pigment. Your lash line looks a little bit fuller. So that's why we do that. And then same thing with the bottom. And you don't need as much. I just put a small dab where my lash line is and my water line, because what I'm going to show you is going to be the reason why. So like Nancy was asking, what colors would you put underneath? So you can totally do a bunch of different ways. It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to show you something kind of simple. So, and you can do this. So if you want a small brush, you can always use that number 14 angled liner brush. That one's pretty good. So what I typically do when I do this is I get a setting spray. You can use your time setter spray. And I'm just going to spray my angle brush. And then I'm going to dip it into that higher ground. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to smudge in my eyeliner. And the good thing about this brush is it's so tiny and fine that you don't have much mess. So when I'm done with that, I typically go ahead and, because this kind of gives it time to settle, and this is where I will use our liner on the top. So here is our perfect eyeliner. This stuff is amazing, goes on super smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a wing. And when I do this, I'm gonna start from my corner and work my way down. And this is just like a paintbrush, you guys, like literally it's got brush bristles on it. So it makes it easy. And then I'm gonna just make my way. So the way I do this is like a paintbrush. And of course, you guys, this is like a perfect example why concealer is amazing. And we all make those little mistakes. So when it comes to my left eye, I do it in reverse to my right eye just because I'm right-handed. So when I do my left eye, like I said, I start from the corner and work my way in. When it comes to my right eye, I do the opposite. Right, and just like that. So again, I just use this like a paintbrush, which this is what makes this eyeliner so amazing because it does have a paintbrush tip. It doesn't have that felt tip that tends to scratch and burn. This formula is just amazing in so many ways. It goes on really well, holds up well. Like, I mean, it doesn't get easier than that, you guys. So now that we got that done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the bottom. So you can do one or two things. You can use your number 20 small brush, or you can use your little angle brush, which I have no idea where my angle brush went. There it is. So this is our number 9 angle brush. So you can use one of each. So what I'm gonna do, same thing with kind of like what I did with the liner. I'm gonna use a setting spray. And the reason I do this is because I don't really want it to fall everywhere. I want it to kind of stay put. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this number 15 towards the outside of my eye. I'm going to bring it about halfway. So, and the reason I'm doing this is because it's a darker color. We want more of that lighter color towards the inside because that's where the light's going to hit. So you can wipe off your brush and reuse it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that color, that pretty gold foil. I'm going to put it right here in the center. Okay, so we have Tainted Love, number 15 towards the outside. We have Phoenix towards the middle. And then now we're going to top it off with some Blondie, just towards the corner. And then you can kind of work it in with your Phoenix. So just like that. And then if you feel like maybe you don't have enough of a bold lash line, you can always go back in, whether it's with your Enduring eyeliner, whether it's with an eyeshadow, whatever you guys prefer.
So you did like the spotlight technique on the top, right? Where you had the
Yes.
lightest shade right in the center, but on the underlash, you didn't use that same technique. You actually did the lightest color closest to the inside, correct?
Yes, but the way it kind of moves, it's almost centered.
No, it looks
So
great.
the
No, it
reason,
looks really good. I love the look. I just wanted to make sure I got that right because I can see why you would make that choice. It looks
yes.
beautiful.
So the reason I don't do darker towards the inside is because then it's gonna kind of look a little funky. When you blend it like this, it slightly gets a little bit lighter towards that middle and then darker towards the edge. That way when the light hits, it's kind of going towards center. And that's kind of what this whole look is about, is just the lighting, you know, where the light hits. So we're pretty much done with our eye look. And you can always finish with the mascara. I still have waterproof mascara on from earlier. So if you're not familiar with our new waterproof mascara, this stuff is like the bomb.com. It does not budge until you're ready for it to. And I mean, the wand on here is amazing. Like, it gives me length and volume. This formula, I feel like, thickens my lashes. And then, of course, I don't have issues with it running or anything. Yes, make-off spray, you guys. When you are taking this eye or this mascara off, definitely make-off spray, or let me grab these. Eyelifes, which work amazing for this too, but I typically, like for today, especially since I had layers and layers of makeup on from earlier, make-off spray is going to be my go-to. So again, this mascara is amazing. So real quick, the blush and then the lip, and then we'll be ready to wrap up. So what I'm going to show you right now is, since we just got our glow drops in, I'm going to show you a little bit of glow drop. So first things first, so this is our Slam blush. This stuff is amazing. So I'm going to take a little bit of that and put it on. So just a little tap is all I did. Just pressed in. And then take our, this is our number 3 angled brush. It's a bigger brush. And I'm going to kind of just press in that color a little bit. If you feel like it's still a little too light, you can always go back in and just kind of slightly press. And just kind of pat it in. And I feel like when you use the angled brush and when you do that, it kind of creates a natural, because you're kind of making your, basically your cheekbones kind of go in a little bit more. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Now for the glowing stuff. Okay, so this is our bronze glow drop. And I'm going to take my little mini blender full. I'm going to just put a teeny tiny bit. Oh, that's a little bit more than a bit. But take a little bit of that off. So I just put some on my little blender full. And I am going to put that in with my blush. Because you guys know, I typically go for like that brown look when I do blushes. A little bit on this side. And this is with our little mini blender full, you guys. So, and I feel like this kind of just blends it in just a little bit more. It makes it look more natural. And of course, that glow. I mean, I think J-Lo should have a bunch of these because she definitely has like this glow. So you can do that. If you have extra, you can kind of put it wherever you need it to. So that is our blush. So I used Slam, which is number, I think it's number 8. Yeah, number 8. And then bronze glow drops. So this is why everyone needs every single color of these, because you just never know what you'll use them for. And that just kind of gives it that natural glow. Okay, so on to lips. Let me find. So I used the one I had before was Cabernet, but my Cabernet went out whenever I was showing samples last night. So we're going to be substituting cocoa. So this is our new fall launch lip liner called Cocoa. This is amazing, you guys. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you my lip color. I think this is still good. Okay. So if you are looking at your lip colors, you want to use, this is Salted Caramel. So it's kind of like a really pretty brownish orange color. And what I did was I kind of did an ombre with it. So you can do this several different ways. You can just put it on. If you're a little messy with it, that's okay because we are doing an ombre look. It does not have to be perfect. So you can take your cocoa and you can just kind of line it. And for some reason, if you don't feel like it's blending quite good enough, a good substitute that you can kind of get that ombre with is our chocolate ganache, which is this lovely color right here. It's one of my favorites. So you can always take just a tad bit of the chocolate ganache and you can kind of just use it to blend in. So just a teeny tiny bit. And to kind of go in and blend. And then if you feel like maybe you got a little too dark, you just go back in with your salted caramel. And just kind of go on top. So, all right, guys, super easy, right?
It really is a great look. I absolutely love how that looks on you. It's gorgeous. And I never would have thought of mixing the chocolate ganache with the salted caramel, actually. But seeing it on your lips, it looks beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
that's one thing I love about all these products is that you can totally mix and match everything. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can even use our glow drops on your lips and kind of give it that spotlight as well. So, I mean, that's the thing about these products I love and why beauty on the budget to me is so important because I'm like, some people don't realize you can do so many different things with just one product. Like, I mean, eyeshadow can go a long way. So
absolutely. You know what I thought was fun about the glow drops, because I got my bronze glow drops too, and I was playing with them last night, and then while you were doing that on your cheeks, I did it. And what I found is that when you do add that on your lip, I thought it would really compromise how long lasting the enduring lip colors felt. But once I tapped it on and let it dry, it actually didn't compromise it like I thought it would. It says it's a glow drop and there's coconut illuminator, and I thought, well, usually when you put something moist on top of those enduring colors, they break down. They lose that quality because you added something to the compound, right? I was shocked to see that these actually, you could put a little dot on your lip and let it dry and it's kind of just stays put. Did you notice that too?
yes. So, and that's one thing, like I still have swatches on my hand from earlier. And I mean, they're not going anywhere. So I mean, that's how good this stuff is. So, I just
had to do a little shout out on that new product because I really didn't know, or I couldn't have imagined that this illuminator was going to be so stay put, and I don't know why I'm surprised because everything that we come out with is always the top quality, right? So when I started playing with it, I was so surprised that it stays put, and I'm glad you said the same thing.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I put these on like I think at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And I went to go pick up my kiddos, and my sitter was asking me about them. I was like, oh, by the way, they're still here. Let me show you. So, I mean, you never catch me without swatches on my hand of some sort, I feel like.
It's great advertising too, by the way. I've had this swatch on for how long? I've actually done that unintentionally. You know, you'll do something in the morning and you'll test a color, and then you halfway through the day, the color is still on your hand. I imagine now I'll be doing that with my sparkles, you know, with my glow drop sparkles.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
funny. At least it's not just me.
I walked into my photo shoot this morning, and my photographer's like, you realize you have lines on your hand. I was just like, she's like, do you think that will come off? I'm like, no, it's not going to come off. I was like, you can Photoshop them out or keep them on and make it look authentic, whatever you want to do.
That's funny. That's so funny.
These products do not budge, you guys.
Right. Well, I'm looking at the chat and I'm not seeing any new questions. And so, Angelica, thank you so much for taking time tonight and explaining all of these tips and tricks to us. I love that we graduated to the 6-color palette because you were able to do so many other fun things with that. And yeah, definitely the glow drops are a shout out, as well as these new liner colors that we have. The cocoa really surprised me because I was expecting such a dark brown, and it is dark, but it has a little bit of an undertone. I don't want to say plum, but don't you agree that there's a color in there that's not just brown?
And that's the one thing, like I compared it to Cabernet. So it is a little bit more brown than Cabernet, but yeah, I do agree. It's got like some kind of like purplish tone with it still. But I feel like it's got more pink tones as well.
You're right.
So
it's like a true cocoa powder when you look at, there is a color in there that isn't just brown. You know?
Right.
Beautiful.
It is gorgeous, you guys. And I mean, if you are like a little curious about it, get yourself one. I mean, you can never go wrong with these. So, you know, give it a try.
Absolutely. And if you decide to do your whole lip with the liner, it's going to work and stay up under a mask. You're not going to have transfer, and it's going to stay for hours there. So if you're somebody who has to wear a mask and take it on, off, and you do want to have some lip color, I would recommend just the liner and give it a try, because that's never going to move for you, and it's not going to rub off on your mask. It's incredible.
No. And that's one thing, you guys, I had a bunch of swatches of those on my hand last night, and I was trying to scrub them off with water. They would not budge with water. So I had to use my makeup spray to get them off. So if you're, you know, a little worried that you're going to look like a clown once you take your mask off, trust me, you will not. It does not budge.
Absolutely
so you're
not.
safe.
Absolutely not. Well, if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube and anything you've seen is a product you'd love to try, please reach out to the beauty guide that invited you to watch this video, and they'll be able to help you with anything you see. And other than that, I would just say, if you enjoyed what you watched tonight, check out the same channel that this video is on YouTube, and you will see many, many other Beauty on a Budgets with different hostesses showing you tips and tricks. And thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being with us live. I can't wait to see how many people watch the replay. Angelica, thank you so much for always coming and showing us all of the beautiful stuff you show us. And everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you again for being with us, and good night.